All right. I'm not sure when the recording starts, but it should kick in at any time. There we go. Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a quick MyTechie session on the participation model. Can you all see my screen? Can people tell me if they can see my screen?
I can.
Okay. So this session is going to be about how we can participate in this contract with MTN Supersonic, but allowing the small guys and girls into the game, because you all know that when you want to take a contract with an MTN or anyone like that, there's a huge amount of hoops to jump through in the contract itself. I take it you've all had a chance to look at the contract. So what we've devised here is pretty revolutionary in the sense that I don't know anyone else that's doing this to try and help the small guy. But what I'm going to cover this evening are these 9 things here. I'm going to talk about the intention, what we're trying to do here. We're going to discuss what the variables are. And then we're going to talk about the value that you bring to the party. What are you bringing to the party and what it's worth? Who's bringing it, whether it's you or someone else. We're going to talk about productivity. We're going to talk about qualifications, certifications, and experience, and how we're going to assess that. We're going to talk about the same thing, and we're going to weigh that up against a thing called risk. And then we're going to talk about the future in terms of how we're going to review this model, because it's not static, it's something we're testing. And then obviously questions, comments, and suggestions. So you need to concentrate. This model should be on the Google Drive, so you can download it. There's no problem for you to download it and play with it. It's just an Excel model. There are a couple of worksheets here, but the one I'm focused on is called Value Credential Model. And let's start. So the intention here is to break up the problem and create some sort of stepping stones for everyone to be able to play with MTN Supersonic and to take work from them while we still maintain the governance of the contract itself. So what we've done is unpack the contract into everything that's required in terms of us as subcontractors to Supersonic, or to Nifracom in this case. And what I've done is I've created 11 different categories here. That's on the left. You see these 11 numbers here, 1 to 11. And the first one is qualification skill. The next one is certification, experience. We all, as individuals, have different things. We've got different qualifications, baseline qualifications. We might have done a few certifications. We come with certain experience. Some of us have got tools, a lot of tools, good tools. Some of us have got vehicles. We need to have a smartphone. We need to have data. We need to have a laptop. We need to have PPE. We need to provide consumables. And then there's the risk insurances that the contract requires us to have. And then the last thing on the list is the platform fee that you pay MyTechie. That's how we only make this amount of money here, this 213 Rand per installation. So the amount of money that Supersonic is paying at the very top end is the 1,500 Rand. It's fully transparent. That's what they pay all their contractors to do this installation. Now, Nifracom is the primary contractor, and they provide us with warehousing and a certain amount of logistics. And for that, they keep 5%. That means all of us, well, you actually, get 1,425 Rand as your revenue. From an accounting point of view, that's what you earn. And all I'm doing here with these 11 things is breaking that up into different weightings or percentages so that we can see what the relative value is of everything. And if you can't provide, for example, the risk insurances, if someone else is going to do that, how much would they clip to cover that value? That's what this thing tries to do. So this weighting that you see here, I've highlighted it in red, is really just my view of it after I've been in this industry now for 40 or more years. So it doesn't mean it's right, and we want to test it, and we want to see how it works, and we can adjust it along the way. So everything that you see in yellow is a variable. Those are the things that we can change on this model. So these numbers can change, these parameters can change, and this parameter over here can change. What this is doing over here is is saying if you as a techie can do 1 installation per day, theoretically, and you could do that for a week, you would do 5 for the week, which means you would do 20 for the month. That's what this little table is. And then all this does is multiply those numbers there by the number of per month. So that would be your per month earnings if you did 1 install a day. Okay, that's all that means. Just keep it in the side of the discussion, and we'll go through this thing one at a time. So what I've done here is I've rated everything. This all adds up to 100%. This 8%, 3%, 10% all adds up to 100%. And there's the 15% that MyTechie charges you as the technician, and that amounts to 213 Rand and 15 cents of the 1,425. So that means on a standard installation where the technician yourself is bringing all the other value, all of these 10 things, if you bring all of that, then you're going to get 1,211 Rand and 25 cents of the 1,425 after MyTechie has taken its 15%. And then multiply that by a month, it would come to the 24,000 over there. So let's just see how this works now. So if you say, okay, the risk insurances, which as I've highlighted it there, you can see you've got to have COID cover, which is, what's it, Jason? What's COID stand for? Compensation for occupational industry or something like that. It's basically occupational injury. You've got to have that cover. You've got to have public liability insurance in respect of claims of death or injury to persons or loss. So if you, for example, were up on a roof and you dropped your spanner and there was a person underneath and they were killed, that's a claim. You've got to have that public liability insurance. You've got there's a thing there called professional indemnity insurance. I don't really understand why it's there. We're going to push back on that and ask them, because that's really something that a consultant would offer if they offer advice, and we're not offering advice. So we're going to talk to MTN about that. But anyway, it's in the contract. Motor vehicle liability insurance, your vehicle has to be covered, especially if it goes onto MTN property. And then contractor's liability cover. So all of those insurances could cost you anywhere between, I don't know, 500 to 1,000 Rand a month or more, depending on the amounts that you covered for. Monty asked me today, how much do we have to be covered for? Well, we issued him with 12 sets of equipment today, and let's say each set of equipment is 12,000 Rand. He's got almost 200,000 Rands worth of equipment in his bucky. If that bucky rolls on the way home, he's got to have insurance to cover 200,000 Rand. That's the kind of thing you've got to have. So not all of you might have that. So what NIFRACOM have said is they are prepared to take it up. So then I put NIFRACOM in that variable column there, and that 42.75 moves to their column. So they start getting that as revenue. You would then reduce to that number there. That's what this participation model will do. It says, okay, you can carry on, but now you're working under NIFRACOM. NIFRACOM is going to get paid, and NIFRACOM will then pay you this amount, if that's what you're bringing. But you might say, listen, I've got the qualification, and I've got the certification, and I've got the experience, I've got the tools, I've got the vehicle, I've got the smartphone, I've got the laptop, but I can't afford this consumables. I'm not going to be able to buy Ethernet cable and all those things. So can you, NIFRACOM, provide it? We could put them in there. They would then take that. Your amount would then reduce to that. Obviously, these things here, they've still got to approve, but that's more or less how this works. So theoretically, if you wanted to just bring your qualifications and they had to provide everything else, you would earn 299 Rand per installation, assuming you were fully qualified and everything else. That's how this model works. But these items here, lines 4 to 8, are still to be discussed with NIFRACOM. I don't know if Solly's on the air now, online now, but if he is, we'll talk about it. But most of you are able to provide almost everything, but many of you can't provide this row 10. So NIFRACOM will take 42.75 clip in addition to the 75 they're already taking, and you'll be left with this amount here after the NIFRACOM clip and the MyTechie clip, which amounts to this amount here per month. But what I want to show you on this variable here is if you had to do 2 installs per day, or some people are able to do 3 installs per day, this becomes quite significant. It's about productivity. And also, we're finding, from a sales point of view, we're not getting enough orders in. But if we can get if this thing starts rocking and rolling and the orders are flying in and you can do 2 to 3 per day, it's quite a nice, and that's only working a 5-day week. It's quite a nice little bundle that you can take home. So that's how this works, and that's what we want to test. And what I wanted to show you as well, so that's how we talk about relative value. And the way this was set was based on a fully productive month where you're getting 2 to 3 installations a day. These are the kinds of amounts you can expect to pay for basic, like a cell phone, for a smartphone and data. If you were fully occupied for the month, 1,710 Rand would more than cover a decent package. You could probably get a lot of airtime and a decent cell phone for that per month. So that's where that number comes from, that 2%. But I've cut it down to 1 just to show you what 1 looks like. Also, what I want to show you is qualifications. So everyone has got different qualifications, and we want to give everyone an opportunity. And we understand that historically, not everyone has been able to have the privilege like I've had to go to private school and go to university and go to college and all the rest of it. But you need to get across these 3, you need to get at least a 3. But we've said, for the sake of qualification, if you're an intern or a matriculant, you'll get a 1 in that score. But if you've had on-the-job training, and we acknowledge that this is an assessment we'll do based on your CV, and we'll give you recognition for prior experience and prior learning. If you've got an N certificate that's relevant, or an N diploma that's relevant, or a B degree that's relevant, you can get you get a 5 for that. But we will take cognizance of the relevance of it. So if you've got a certificate in classical music, it's not relevant, okay? But if you've got a certificate in engineering of some sort, yes, it is relevant. And that's how we've scored it. And then for certifications, the certification means you've done a basic diploma or degree, that's fine, or a certificate, but now you need an Airfibre certification or some specific micro credential. And if you get that, you get a 5. A lot of you that are already working have done Airfibre training, and we would be prepared to certify you as Airfibre certified, so you'd get 5 for that. But there might be cases where you get an equivalent because you've done fixed wireless access at other places, and it's just a case of so then you'd get a 3. If you just in progress, it would be 1. So will get you 5 if you're certified to do the specific, in this case, Airfibre. Then as far as experience is concerned, looking at your CV and what you've done, if you've got 10 years or more experience, you're going to get a 5. And then 5 years is 4, and 3 years is 3, and 2 years is 2, and less than 1 year is 1. That's just the way it works. So we would want you to get an average of 3 on these numbers. So worst case, let's say you get 2 there, 3 there, and 3 there. You're not going to qualify, but you might have a lot of experience, in which case you would then qualify. So that's how that works. But I'm assuming that many of you are going to be, in the upper 4s and 5s here anyway, with the kind of CVs that you're getting. And what that translates to, so let me show you what happens there. So if you're fully qualified, this amount here remains the same. But if you, for some reason, you're not fully qualified and you've got full certification, but you're still learning, you're qualified to do the work, but there's a risk because you haven't got as much experience. So that risk is translated into a higher risk insurance fee for Nufricom. You get a slightly lower rate over here. That's how that works. Any questions, people? Let me take them now, and we can see where we're going. Anybody?
Don't be shy, anyone. Please ask questions.
Just talk modern.
On the rating service, like I make an example, are you gonna, like I went with Chucky for the installation. Is he gonna give the rating, or where's the rate? Who's gonna give the rating?
It will be me. It will be MyTechie. Based on what Chucky tells me and the fact that you've done the training, you'll get a 5 for Airfibre.
Okay, I
But as
understand.
soon as you start making mistakes or things go wrong, we'll go back and say, listen, you need to go for retraining. You don't understand how to terminate an earth cable, or using the wrong material. So, this is something, we trust you. We'll give you a chance. But if we find that in practice it's not working out, you're not giving us the right quality, then we might have to drop your qualification or your certification. You have to maintain it. You understand?
I understand, because due to we marketing your brand, and I understand the criteria and all that, so it makes sense.
Yeah,
I just
and the
wanted to
thing
clear it
the
up.
thing is with Supersonic, they also could go behind. You give us a nice installation and photographs are taken, but they'll send somebody around there a couple of days later and they'll poke around it, and then they'll come back to us, and then we have to fix that. But we don't want to have to go back and fix things, because that's extra time and cost for you. So do it right the first time, and you'll get the credit. We're going to try and make it as easy and as fair as possible for everyone.
Thank you. My question has been answered.
Anyone else? Okay, the session is being recorded, and I think you probably need some time to mull it over. You can download the spreadsheet and work it out yourself. We want to test it. It's not casting concrete. We want to see how it works. If it doesn't work, we'll throw it out. Ultimately, this business is also about you guys and girls, so it must work for everyone. And we hopefully you'll understand the value, because it will give you an opportunity to eat some cake off the Supersonic table that you wouldn't otherwise be able to eat. Any other comments? So let me just, while you're thinking about that, I'm going to just show you again, just put everything back to 555 and show you that it's all very viable. Nifricom are happy to take that, and in some cases they may be willing to assist with consumables. By the way, on the consumables, we are trying very hard now to we want to talk to suppliers, and we'd actually like to hear from you about who your suppliers are of electrical cable, of Ethernet cable, of certain of the key tools, so that we're going to start negotiating with them to bring the prices down, and of J brackets and things like that. So we are going to exercise a little bit of buying power as we grow as a team, as a federation, and we're going to bring that back to you guys and girls, so that you can benefit from lower costs in terms of consumables. So if you've got any suppliers you want us to talk to, please email me their name, address, name and contact details, and I'll talk to them.
Andre, may I interject?
Yes.
With the all risk insurance, business all risk insurance doesn't cover you when you're on site. It covers things like your laptop, your cell phone, your business. But you actually need contractors all risk insurance. That's what covers you when you're on site.
Yeah,
and
that's
it
number
also
5.
includes public liability.
Yeah, that's number 5, contractors liability cover. That's the insurance that's required.
That's one of the biggest things that they want. And a lot of people have all risk business insurance, but not contractors insurance. And there's a difference. You need all risk contractors insurance.
Yeah, so a little task for you, Jason, is also to help us find insurers that are competitive in pricing for those covers.
Our insurance is one of the only companies that offers it. MyWay, for instance, doesn't offer it. Auto and General, I think, offer it. But unfortunately, they don't all offer it.
Okay, so if you can give us some pricing.
Like I did refer somebody from Outsurance. Like I did my insurances. You still remember, Jason?
Yes.
So I think I'm covered on the insurances part. I have all the insurance that the MTN needs.
So Chucky, you did exactly the right thing. You contacted the right person, you got the right insurance, everything was done.
And then Chucky left the company and he started a new one. So I don't know.
Yeah, but this was for his new company.
Okay.
I needed to do the right things.
Questions? What do you think about this, guys? Is it good, bad, ugly? You happy, not happy? You give me some feedback.
So, does everybody understand what Andre has said here? Oh, Suraj just got his hand up.
Suraj from Newcastle. Have you sold your 108 units yet?
Hi, Andre.
How's
Hear
it?
me?
Yeah, we can.
Yes. Sorry, I came in late. Hi, everybody. I just want to find out, say, for example, like, I don't know if everybody's area is the same, but like Newcastle, it's not a very large area. And I've been, trying to advertise and market this Airfibre for a while now. And I'm just not getting any responses. I mean, I've been trying, like marketing groups that I'm in, quite a few marketing groups. And, I like your idea. I like your business model. But what I'm saying is the specific supersonic, like I mentioned before, I'm not trying to put anybody off, but, we had such negative reviews. Now, how are we going to turn that around, and try and get customers knowing that, there were such negative reviews about this company?
I'm going to hand that over to my spin doctor, Sharon Peets, to answer.
How's it, Suraj? Listen, after I know you messaged me and I said that we would apply our mind because you made a very valid point, and it's a point that we've actually raised directly with Supersonic. We've detailed it all in writing, and what we are going to try and do is obviously what's on social media is on social media. We can't change that, but they've just got 1 April, in fact. Yes, 1 April came a new sales director for Zila. She is taken on this mammoth task of turning this massive ship around. And Janine is seeing it on a daily basis where they contact Janine directly to say this client has lodged a complaint, or we need to quickly go back and assist on not our installations. So they are trying their best. We've also said we can't be sales agents and marketing agents unless we've got tools and collateral. So, and obviously very importantly, that you guys getting like it's financially viable for you. So we've broken it up into 2 prongs. Andre is in the throes of getting an official dealership license from Supersonic, which will mean that technicians will get both installations and commissions on clients' leads that are confirmed to customers. And myself and Janine are working on getting branding, getting literature, brochures, banners, gazebos, so that you can actually, in a highly populated place where there's a lot of foot traffic, on a Saturday morning, put up a gazebo, have 2 or 3 family members or friends with clipboards saying, this is what we're offering. And I've seen it work in my local community where Vodacom fiber specialists have been doing it. That you see a bunch of people, you see a vibe, you see an atmosphere, you see the word fiber, you see the prices, you're like, oh, what's happening here? So it is tough to just jump in. And we've also said to Fazila that we need to understand what is their sales pitch. We need to understand how are they getting their agents to sell this. So we are lining up. It was supposed to be between the 10th and 17th. We are pushed out by a week, but Supersonic are actually going to give us dedicated sales sessions where these types of very direct critical feedback is going to be very important to them, to say, guys, we are fighting the social media. Facebook is putting more and more positive adverts on about Supersonic, but we acknowledge it, and we are working hand in hand with them to ensure that we open these doors. So, but it will. Sorry.
I don't want to waste too much, not waste.
Sure.
I don't want to talk too much on the sales side, but if that's the only question, I want to make sure we've covered everything on the model. But Suraj, look at the model, at the pricing that they're being sold at here. You can't tell me that people in Newcastle aren't willing to spend $399 for an always on, eat as much as you like, a broadband internet connection with, they don't have any trenching to do. It's just up and running quickly. I don't know what the guys do at night in Newcastle, but surely the internet must be required there. So we are pushing Supersonic hard to market this thing. You'll see some stuff coming through. It was quite slow in Gauteng. I can't believe how slow it was here. We haven't reached a tipping point yet, but it's a lot more competitive here. There's a lot more options for people to buy internet here than in Newcastle, I should imagine.
Okay. Just one more thing as well, quickly. I don't know if you'll mention it before, but like I said, I did join late. Up until we reach that point where we can see sales moving.
Sorry, we lost you now. You're still there.
To get the full income. Pardon?
You're breaking up, Suraj.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay, I say up until the point where we reach, enough sales or customers, where we're getting regular customers. Say, for example, now I meet all the requirements to get the full installation fee for that installation. Obviously, it's going to cost me, risk insurance and whatever the case may be. In the meantime now, because obviously, like I'm going to pay for all this stuff. What do I do until then? Because you'll want us to sign up, these insurance companies and get all our stuff, with COIDA and things like that. All this is going to cost money on a monthly basis. So what do we do until then?
But that's why I'm saying we're giving you the option to not do that now and to work under NIFRACOM for a loss of 42.75 until you say, okay, I've got it now, it's working, we've got enough. I'm going to switch off the NIFRACOM and I'm going to take it back.
Okay, I see. All
That's
right,
what that means.
That answers.
So you if you've got it already because you're working as a contractor and you've got it, then you don't need NIFRACOM. But if you don't want to go and get all that expense now, just hand that particular cell over to NIFRACOM. They will clip 42 Rand. You provide consumables as you need them and everything else. You're still making a fair whack, and it makes it easier for you to get into the game. At some point, you'll say to me, Andre, right, we're ready to do it ourselves now under your company. Cut NIFRACOM out for that. You've got the insurances, off you go. It's your call.
Oh,
does that make sense?
Yes. No, thanks, Andre. Thanks.
Okay. So that's what that means. So you can play with this thing, and NIFRACOM are being generous and saying they're going to they've got 10 million Rand cover, and we are testing that. We are asking them to make sure that this is covered, and they will have to start paying maybe higher premiums. But we're trying to make it as easy as possible for people to get into the game without and manage the risk at the same time. I think, Zaid, you had a question?
Yes, Andre. My question is, there's a whole lot of clients that I'm actually speaking to directly, and I think me and Janine had a conversation about it last week, Saturday, on the Tirana group, where the clients will contact me directly for problems that they have. And I'm trying to help the clients as much as I can telephonically to see what the problem is. But now the other thing is, once I've helped the clients and the client actually log a call, and we know what the problem is actually on that client, then Supersonic also ends up giving the calls to other people instead of referring the calls back to us, because the clients actually sends me the reference numbers that are logged with Supersonic. And then I do follow-ups with Supersonic, but half of the time I do not get feedback from Supersonic on those clients. And half of the time Supersonic will log calls where the BN goes down. And Supersonic doesn't even realize that the BN is down until I bring it up to them and say, guys, check if this BN is up. This is the RN number, this is the BN number. So Supersonic is not playing their part with a call center to assist the customers. Because at the end of the day, the customers is looking at us, the installers, to assist them, because they have our direct numbers.
So, Zayed, what you need to do to help us, we have a meeting with Supersonic every week on Wednesday at 11:30. You need to empower us, specifically Clements, with specific information about what BN, what client, what date and time, what happened so that we can raise it at that weekly meeting with them, please.
Okay, that I will do, because currently I have a client in Orange Farm, and Janine knows about it because that client have been going down each and every week, almost on the exact same day, the exact same time, where the BN goes offline.
Is it because of load shedding perhaps, or cable theft or something like that?
No, there's nothing happening in that area regarding load shedding or cable theft. That BN
talking
just
about
keeps
Lebagang.
going down.
Lebagang, hey, Said?
Yes.
Yeah.
So those things you must raise with, we must document as much detail as possible, empower us, specifically Clemens or Janine or myself, but Clemens is really the go-to guy there, so that we can raise it with Supersonic at the weekly meeting, or even, you know, immediately. We've got contacts internally there.
Okay.
Said, if you can give Clemens the rundown, because you've got the dates of when you were called out as well, so that he can bring it up with Supersonic team tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
Andre Ongula, what can you tell me?
Hello there. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you, Andre.
I've just got a question as far as concerned. If say two techies decide to work together, because the one have got some of the equipment, the other one has some of the equipment, and so on, how would the setup work here? Do they then only look at one of the techies? Because obviously you won't get paid
That's per
twice
team.
the amount.
What we're paying is per team. So if it's a team of 2 or 3, that's the price that gets paid to the whole team.
Okay, but my question then is, must one of the team then decide, look, I'm the main member here, so I'm going to, as far as the qualifications and certification and so on is concerned, that's going to be taken off that one person?
Yeah, the team leader, whoever the team leader is the one that we're going to assess.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Andre, the one who's going to be using the app and capturing the data, etc., you can no one can work alone. The install needs a minimum of 2 people, because there's a step ladder and everything within the ladder. So
Yes,
one
that's
of
correct.
the 2 people have to have the app and have to have the qualifications and everything else.
Okay, then my question is then, further than that, the second person, whether that also be a techie or just a worker or the main team leader, does he also need certification and
No.
qualifications, or does he work under the team leaders?
He works under the team leader, Andre.
Qualification.
He works under the
Okay.
team leader. We would prefer that the team leader takes responsibility for it, and if they want to, you can use a laborer, but obviously you need to be responsible for their health and safety as well. You need to make sure that they've got the right PPE if they're climbing ladders, and if they are using hand tools, that they know what they're doing. They're under your control, the team leader's control.
Yeah, okay, so that would revert back to the team leader.
Yes, and we are encouraging you to use, we've got a whole bunch of what we call interns in the old days, like when we were the apprentice. And they are people that are certified. They've got actual good quality certifications, but they've got no experience. And they're looking for the Andre Ongeras and the Andre Hoffmans and the Chuckies to help them and be their mentors. So we encourage you to use them, and we are offering a discount on the 15% if you use one of our accredited interns, so that we develop people and build capacity for this country.
Okay.
Ultimately, that they become technicians themselves.
Okay, that sort of answers my questions at this stage.
Thanks,
Right,
Andre.
thanks. Okay.
Victor.
Hello.
Lekker, man. Talk to me.
Oh, okay. All right. Evening, everyone. Yeah, I think on my side, I have actually 2 questions. Well, one, it's based on the risk cover, right? I just want to know, the 42 rand, will it be per installation? Let's say, for example, I'm doing 10 installation for this month. So it's going to be 42 rand per installation, paying 420, something like that. Is it?
Per
Is it
installation.
like that?
Everything is
Per
per
installation.
installation. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. And then, okay, still on that topic now. Let's say, for example, I don't have the 3 insurances. I only have 1 or 2. Is it still going to be the 42 rand, or is there a way to work around it? Because I know for a fact that on my side, I'm still waiting on the contractor's insurance, of which I'm hoping to sort it out before the end of this month. So what I'm asking is, because of having 1, does the 42 rand still apply or not? Or is it going to be reduced?
At this stage, we're trying to find a fairly simple, with we don't want to overcomplicate it. We haven't granularized it down to so much per cover. It's all or nothing. If you're short of any of them, you must forego that 42 rand until you've got everything that you can tick all the risk insurance boxes. That's all we can offer you at the moment.
Oh, okay, all right. And now my other question is, yeah, can I ask another question?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. Right, now this one is, I don't know, it's going to be a tricky one. Tell me, is it not possible, I'm just thinking out of the box, like talking from a business point of view, right, looking at this clause, 10.5, the waiting period, I don't know if maybe it's only me or other guys are also feeling it. The waiting period of up to 60 days for the payout of the installation. Is it not possible if like they can at least reduce it? Let's say I'm making an example, maybe on for the month of March, I do about 20 installations. And then come the next month, I don't have enough material to continue up until I get my next pay. So I'm looking at that in that angle. So I'm asking if is it not possible to at least maybe Infracom speak to Supersonic to say, okay, maybe at least guys reduce the waiting period, at least maybe make it whether it's 30 days or not 60 days, because it's too
Victor, it is in fact, it says 60 days, but they pay us every month. We invoice every week. On a Friday I do the invoicing, and by the Monday it goes to Supersonic every week, and once a month they pay all the invoices. So it's very unlikely you will wait 60 days. So there's a payment that's just come through now. We're busy waiting. We're waiting for the payment that's just arrived in Nifracom's bank account. It's got to come through to us. It might be coming today or tomorrow, and we'll be making some payments. So it's every month. So that's the one thing. And then the second thing, Victor, is we are onboarding other clients. So you are going to be kept busy with things from Mobile Talk, from Linteg, from Bitco and other places. So all of these invoices you can bank on money coming. The only time we've had problems is with D2T2 and the Centec jobs, where we haven't been paid yet and we're fighting for that, and that was guys in Limpopo mainly. So we also vet our clients very carefully, but Supersonic pay every month. It's not 60 days, it's 30 days.
Okay, just on that, I'm just now confused, because I remember there's 2 or 3 leads that the installation that I made that I've done in, I think it was March or something like that. So that the last time it was the last payment that I received, it was around the end of Feb or between March. So I'm asking myself, okay, so that means
you can speak to Bronwyn and ask her for a statement just to check if we've missed something on your side. But it's also about timing. So if the last invoice that, let's say it's the 15th or the 16th, or say it's the 20th of the month, then those invoices get paid, and then you won't wait. Anything you happen in the last week of the month, we'll have to wait for the next month. But you can always send Bronwyn at admin at MyTechie to give you a statement and see if there's anything outstanding. But there is one due in the next few days. and you might be lucky that you're on that one. I can have a quick look if you like.
Okay,
Andre,
all right, cool, not a problem. I will also raise it with, I will also engage with the Brownman regarding that. Just send her all the installations that are still pending to be paid for. But yeah, I'll do that. I'll drop an email tomorrow.
Yeah, we're very sensitive
more-
to you guys
Sorry.
wanting payments. We all need it, so we chase it all the time. Bronwyn, sorry,
Yeah.
you carry on.
No problem. Thank you very much. You're more than welcome to send me an email and I'll send you a statement. As Andre mentioned, there is a payment that is due to come in. So there will be some payments being made hopefully before the end of this week. But I'm very happy to send you a statement.
Okay, thank you very much.
yes, Andre, just one question on my side regarding the payments. Is it possible that, say for instance, Brown won't pay us? Is it possible that she can maybe let us know which calls is it that we actually got paid for in that specific month?
I'll answer that. Yes, I am quite happy to send you a breakdown. It is a little bit difficult because there is a lap over between the months. But when we actually do a payment to you, I can actually send you the breakdown of exactly what that payment was made up, bearing in mind that the payments that you're getting made, that are getting made to you, are actually against your job card. So you're actually quite capable then to figure out from your side as well if you've been paid on the particular job cards that you've actually done an install for.
Okay, no, because the reason why I'm asking that is, like Andre just mentioned, say for instance, the last month gets cut out. And in my mind, I'm basically calculating it for the entire month. So now you can get, for instance, I work it out to say that I've maybe done 20 calls, and out of that 20 calls, maybe 7 of those calls was done in the last week of that month. So I'm calculating on my side to say, for instance, I must get maybe 20,000, and then I only receive a payment of, say, maybe 15,000. So it leaves me where I'm thinking, am I paid for all the calls of that month? Because remember, from my side also, I also would like to keep track of what I'm getting paid for, the calls that I've done, and which calls is still outstanding for payment.
No, absolutely. I think the better way to do it is that when I do the payments to the techies that have done the installs, I will actually send you the breakdown that relates back to the job number, which is actually the invoice number, which will then actually help you to understand what you've been paid for the work that you've done. Because obviously we get paid from Supersonic to MyTechie, and then we actually do the calculation for you as to exactly what they've paid for which invoice. I'm very happy to send you the breakdown so that you can understand which jobs you have been paid for and which jobs are still waiting to be paid for.
Yes, that will be great. Thank you, Bronwyn.
You're welcome.
Seems like we're getting questions around a lot of other things, and but I assume everyone's more or less happy with this model. We've been videoing now for about an hour. I'll give you guys, if during the week you've still got questions, or if somebody says, okay, we'd like to test it, we'd like to take up the Nifricom offer of the 42 Rand or whatever it is, then talk to me one-on-one and we'll get you sorted out. There are a couple of guys like Earvolt and Jerry and a couple of others that are already doing it that way. Are we done? No questions?
Awesome.
I don't see Solly on here, so I have thrown him under the bus, but he'll have to accept it now. Sorrel I see Sorrel's off again. He was on briefly.
No,
Monty,
still here.
Are you there? Okay. Are you going to also take up like your brother on this Nifricom offer?
Yes.
Okay.
I was a bit flooded with work, but now at least things have calmed down. So I did speak with him. He said he'll help me with the process to chat with you, get all the stock sorted, and get everything booked
But I
out.
believe you're only a weekend worker.
Yeah, for the moment, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Hey, don't underestimate. I can do a lot in the weekend.
Yeah, but you're a DJ, so how do you fit that in as well?
I don't know. It just happens. Schedules,
Okay, Monty, have you made up your mind whether you're going to use the NIFRACOM offer for now until you get going?
Yeah, I'd like to use the NIFRACOM offer, yes, because according to my quotes that I've got, I can't get that entire insurance for that amount.
Yeah, no, that's the problem, and that's why we're trying to help you. And when you're ready, when you've got a big enough business to afford it yourself, you take it over.
By all means, yeah. So for the time being, I'd like to go with the NIFRACOM offer on the insurance.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome.
So that's the story. I think that's my story. If anyone's got any questions, you can ping me afterwards. But thank you very much to everyone. Thank you, Sharon, Bronwyn, Jason, and Janine, the team. I don't see Clements on board here, but orders are coming in, guys. The thing's starting to happen
Clements
now.
gave his apologies. He's got load shedding.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thanks to Eskom. We're happy with it. Okay, I'm going to sign off then if there's no other questions. Thank you very much. What I'll do is I'll switch off I'll stop the recording and